What we're looking at here is how we came together, the 10th worst team in the whole Eastern Conference, the Charlotte Hornets. We had a bit of a discrepancy here between how we viewed them. I'm a bit of a hater, so I had them at the 12th, and Justin gave them a bit of a bump because of a couple of guys who were added to this squad, the 8th overall. The additions this year were Nick Batum, Tyler Hansbrough, Aaron Harrison, Spencer Hawes, Frank Kaminsky, Jeremy Lamb, Jeremy Lin, and Jason Maxiel. And they lost Noah Vonleh. This is a team that was building through last year, a couple of players doing really well, a lot of defense. Justin, you had them 4 points ahead of mine. Sell me on these Hornets.
Well, I think the Charlotte Hornets were a lot better than their record indicated last year. They were wounded severely all year with Al Jefferson, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Kemba Walker. All those guys missed a significant amount of time. I think they added a ton of depth and a ton of defense in the Eastern Conference. I think that's enough to get you into the playoffs. I think Nick Batum's a great defender. He's going to add a lot of scoring for them too. He had a down year, but I expect that to be corrected as he recovers from his injuries. Frank Kaminsky, I imagine him in a bit of a Channing Frye role. He was probably drafted a little higher than he should have been, but he can hit the threes and he provides some rim protection as well. I just think the amount of defense and depth they have is going to make them a contender for the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, you got me licking my chops, that last comment you made with Frank Kaminsky being a rim defender. My problem with Charlotte, listen, I see the talent. I love the addition of Nick Batum. I think Kemba Walker is growing in to himself. I think, Kidd-Gilchrist could make it. Al Jefferson's a stud on the block. But to me, it's tough to win in the NBA when you don't protect the rim. And as much as you may be high on Frank Kaminsky, I don't see it quite as much. And Al Jefferson, for everything he brings on the offensive side of the ball, he lacks there on the defensive side of the ball. So do you think their wing defense, which I will give to you, is enough to make up for that lack of shot blocking? Because the other guys they did bring in, again, Spencer Hawes, another Channing Frye type guy. So they do have the ability to stretch the floor. But when we're looking at this, I saw some interesting guys. I think Jeremy Lin's a nice change of pace off the bench. I think Jeremy Lamb's a nice project. He hasn't really found his home ever since he went from Houston. He was, for those of you who don't remember, he was part of that James Harden trade, actually. Never really made it out in OKC. And Tyler Hansbrough, same kind of idea. Do you disagree with me with the needing of the shot blocker, or do you think their overall defense and kind of balance are going to win the day for these Hornets?
I think rim protection can be a little overrated at this point in the NBA. A lot of teams really do need that rim protection because they lack good overall team defense. I think Michael Kidd-Gilchrist I had as either the second or third best defensive player in the NBA last season. I think he's that good. He makes that big of a difference. I think you can play some small ball with Nick Batum at the 4. He's at 6'9", great length. You play Kidd-Gilchrist next to him. You add some shooting in there. You can put Lin as a 2 guard or have him run the point. I just think they have a lot of versatility, a lot of length. Same reason that I like the Milwaukee Bucks is kind of why I like the Charlotte Hornets. They both have centers that don't really play defense, but overall they have length and enough good team defenders that I think they're going to be able to make up for the lacking of defense at that one position.
You know what? You make a lot of great points, as you always do. I think the thing that hurts me the most with this team is the fact that I'm such a big draft guy, and I've seen them botch it year after year after year after year. And I just think of what this team could be had they had a Sam Presti or such making decisions instead of his airness. But, that's where the cookie crumbles, and these are the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll join you on our next preview coming up here on hoopslounge.com.